Kouri Richins was all tears in court, and she still wants to get her fair share of the financial pie after what she allegedly did to her husband. And we're going to talk about some of those things in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa, which is behind me, and Mr. Roscoe is with us once again today, and my name is Paul. Now, like I said in the little introduction, today we're going to be talking about Kouri Richins. This is the children's book author. She has allegedly taken the life of her husband and through poisoning, and then a year later wrote a book about grief about it, right? About how to go through grief with your family and whatnot. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Now, she obviously has not been gone through court and been convicted yet, I should say. So again, these are just my opinions. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just a guy with a sofa and some opinions on true crime, and they're just that, they're opinions. I urge you to do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and talk about it down in the comment section below. Now, the way this video will be structured today is we're going to look at just a few clips from her courtroom appearance, mostly her body language and the way she looks, and then we're going to read a couple of news clips and talk about this, what she's suing the estate of her late husband for. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
All rise.
Now, when she first came out, I was like, wow, she looks so different, right? But I mean, the waterworks, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, just beside herself. Now, again, I go back and forth because I'm like, okay, she has not been convicted yet, right? The evidence does not look good, and I'm talking about just the basics of it, the forensics of it, and also testimony from people that knew them, and the evidence of, well, he was saying she's been trying to kill him for a while, and the financial stuff. It's not looking good, right? But again, she's not been convicted, but I'm also just like, well, why cry now? And my opinion of that is that this just plays into the let me pivot myself to be the victim, because again, in her world, she's going to be coming from the standpoint of, what are you talking about? I didn't do this, kind of a thing. And so to me, this just aligns with that. They also had children, so there's that whole level of, did mom kill dad? So to me, this is an act, is what I'm getting at, but it also could be that she's horrified and embarrassed to go out here, and, she strikes me as the type of person that would think she's above this, right? And so having to go face the jury, you know what I'm saying, is probably very humbling to her.
1500139, State of Utah versus Kouri Richins. Ms. Costello, Mr. Hill, and Ms. Olson on behalf of the state, Ms. Lazaro, Mr. Hamidi on behalf of Ms. Richins. Good morning, Ms. Richins. Afternoon, pardon me. What's contemplated today?
Your Honor,
Now again, very nice, good morning, kind of a thing, Judge is very cordial in this, and again, just watching her up there, I mean, she is so visibly upset. Now, also, if you look at other scenarios, the opposite of it, okay, so we've just been covering Chad Dorman, who's in there listening to these horrifying charges against him, that he's confessed to already, right? Not a tear, not a nothing, not a anything, just blank. So for me, I'm like, well, what do you want to see, Paul? Do you want to see him not do anything, or do you want to see him cry? And I guess what I want to see is authenticity, and however that plays out. Maybe that is authenticity for Chad, that there's nothing there. Maybe this is authenticity from her. Maybe she's like, what did I do? Oh my God. I don't know why she's acting the way that she's acting at the end of the day, so I can only surmise, like, we'll make guesses at it, but at the end of the day, obviously, I'm not her, so I don't know.
just doing a Friday is fine with me.
We can do the afternoon of, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're going to say the 18th? That was what I'm worried about, and I could do that virtually, which would be fine if you're okay with that, because we would have other people here.
Would you prefer to just do the afternoon of September 1?
I would
In person?
do that.
That's fine with me.
Okay. We'll set a scheduling conference 2 for September 1 at 1:30 p.m. in person.
Thank you.
Anything else today?
I don't have anything further.
No, you're not.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Richins, I'll see you back on September 1 at 1:30 p.m. in person, if not sooner. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank
All right.
you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you, Counsel.
You said 1.
September 1 at 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30. Okay.
Yeah, my apologies.
Lots of
Yes.
ones. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Now this part, again, just looking at how upset she was. So we heard September 1st. This is pushed out. To us, it's not, I mean, to us, it's like, oh, September, so it's basically July at this point. I mean, the end of June. So July, August, September. I mean, like 2 months and a week or whatever. Depends on when you're watching this. So notice when he said September 1st, she kind of did a little twitch, which could be anything, right? I could be super reading into this, but I was kind of like, oh, I wonder if she's like, I'm ready to go home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to go home, and September's so far away because it's going to be way farther out to them because they're not doing anything, right? They're just sitting incarcerated, like watching time go by. So that's going to be like forever kind of a thing. So for me, I was just like, interesting. And also when we can hear that he's directly dealing with her, and talking to her directly, she's more like, sniffling and this kind of a thing. Now, again, maybe she does feel sorrow. I don't know. If the allegations of how calculated this is come out to be true, I don't think she would be capable of sorrow except for herself. And so that's why I say I read into her behaviors as feeling sorry for herself for being incarcerated and getting caught, essentially. Now, on that note, let's segue into this article. This is from the Post, and it was numerous articles, but the legitimate type publications, but this one I just found was concise enough to talk about what I wanted to talk about with this. And this is her still sticking her hand out, which I'm like, girl's brave. And I have some opinions on this that we'll talk about after we go over the article, so let's read this a little bit first, and then we'll talk about that. So on the screen, you see grief book author Kouri Richins sues $1.9 million estate of her husband she allegedly killed. Yeah, that's an attention grabber. Now let's go to the next thing here. Utah mom and grief book author Kouri Richins is suing the estate of her late husband, whom she allegedly killed, claiming she deserves money and physical assets outlined in their prenuptial agreement. In the civil lawsuit she filed June 9th against Eric Richins' estate, the 33-year-old murder suspect is seeking half the equity in the couple's home, which is estimated to be worth about $1.9 million. And they're saying that this was a filing cited by CNN. The legal title to the home, which the couple bought in 2012 for $400,000, was in Eric's name, but mortgage payments were made from their joint account, the lawsuit states. Kouri is entitled to half of all the equity in that family home, according to the filing, which makes no mention of the charges she faces. Okay, so here's my thing with that, where I'm just like, okay, wow, now I play devil's advocate here. We already knew, if the evidence proves to be true, that she was after money. There's like fights with his sister, I believe, and stuff like this, so she wants money. The fact that she's doing this, I'm like, well, maybe this is to pay for her legal team. Maybe this is to put money towards the kids. I like to think of pragmatic things like this, right? And that it's not a power thing or a money thing, or I'm getting out of here and then I'm going to get this money and all that type situation. So I'll be very curious to see how these proceedings go. And again, obviously, I don't expect them to put in here any mention of the charges that she's facing. The fact that she's going forth with this, to me, it's kind of like bad taste. But again, we don't know the true motivations. I'm not in her brain, right? Thank God. I just know that the charges against her are not good. The evidence does not look good, and it's going to play out in court. I am sure she will take this to trial, right? I'm sure she'll say she's innocent. So we'll see. And so that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you're still watching, drop some little sofas for Mr. Roscoe, for him finally joining us back again. And that's it. Again, just let me know what you think. Do you think that she should have filed these charges? Do you think that she's guilty? The whole 9 yards. I want to know. And until we gather around in the comment section to continue the conversation, I'll see y'all there.